You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode number 208.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports news in Central Indiana, with a little bit of major national sports news, anything that may be of interest to Central Indiana sports fans.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. Today is March 18th, 2025. It's a Tuesday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengel, and I love Central Indiana sports. Coming to you today from Madison Grant High School, producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Coming up, there wasn't much Monday, but man, what a win by the Pacers. We will hear about that one, plus we will preview all of Tuesday's local action. But first, I'm going to ask you to please go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report. We are really easy to find. Even if you're already subscribed to SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, or Amazon, please go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Thank you. Also, we have lots and lots of high school and college basketball coming up this week, including semi-state previews, NCAA tournament preview with Grant Schaus. Earlier Tuesday, we released the IU report where we discussed IU's men's basketball coaching search. Also this week, we'll have the Colts report with Eli Edwards and Will Rutherford's 5 questions that need answers. So much going on, and local spring sports are just around the corner. What an incredible win by the Indiana Pacers on Monday night. The Pacers found a way to end Minnesota's 8-game winning streak despite trailing most of the overtime session and playing without Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, and Aaron Nesmith. Andrew Nembhard was ejected from the game, and Benedict Mathurin fouled out, so you could argue their top 6 players all out. Indiana still found a way to get the win over one of the league's hottest teams on the road.
Unusual set of circumstances and an opportunity for guys that maybe have not been getting a huge opportunity to step up and play against one of the hottest teams in the world. And just a great example of resilience and wherewithal to get an early lead, then get down by 8 or 10, and then work our way back into it, get it to overtime, and just outlast these guys. And so Obi Toppin had one of the most spectacular runs at the end of the game I've ever seen.
It was indeed Obi Toppin's night. He finished with 34 points, going 12 for 19 from the field, 7 for 10 from behind the three-point line. 11 of his points came in overtime, including an incredible off-balance game-winning three-pointer with 3.1 seconds left.
That first one, the bank shot, it was either TJ or Ben that pitched it to me. And I seen McDaniels and Julius both go down. I was like, I got to shoot this. I'm feeling good. Hit a couple shots before that and shot that. And then that last shot, it was just be in the corner. TJ's getting to the rim. If I got the shot, shoot it. The clock's running down. I just need to make a shot. So that's what we did.
TJ McConnell, MCCONNELL McConnell, had 11 points and 13 assists and some clutch baskets and assisted on Toppin's game winner. Just incredible. Also been incredible this year has been Thomas Bryant. He had a huge 3 in overtime and finished with 10 points and 7 rebounds. Some guy named Tony Bradley went 6 for 8 from the field and finished with 12 points and 9 rebounds. And some dude named Quentin Jackson went 4 for 6 and finished with 13 points. Mathurin scored 24 points before fouling out late in the fourth quarter. The Pacers are now tied with Milwaukee in 4th place in the Eastern standings at 38 and 29, a game ahead of Detroit in 6th place. Still 5 games behind the 3rd place Knicks. The Pacers are back in action Wednesday evening at home against the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas is 2-10 since trading star Luka Doncic. It is the first of 5 straight home games for Indiana. Also in the NBA, it was announced that former Pacers star Paul George is done for the season with the Philadelphia 76ers. Looking ahead to Tuesday, the NCAA tournament begins Tuesday evening with the first 4 in Dayton. It starts at 6:40 with 16 seeds St. Francis and Alabama State, before 11 seeds North Carolina and San Diego State battle to get into the field of 64. Duke enters the tournament as the favorites at 3-1. The top 5 most favored teams, number 2 is Florida, 3 Auburn, 4 Houston, then Alabama and St. John's are both 20-1. Purdue is 80-1 to win the tournament. The Boilermakers are the only team from the tournament from Indiana. They are the 4 seed and will take on 13 seed High Point at 12:40 Thursday in Providence, Rhode Island. The first round kicks off Thursday at 12:15 with Louisville against Creighton from Lexington, Kentucky. South Carolina is the favorite according to the odds makers in the women's tournament, slightly over UConn. UCLA and USC are both 6-1, and Notre Dame is 5th at 15-2. Ball State has the 22nd best odds to win the national championship at 200-1. IU is 500-1. The Irish, Cardinals, and Hoosiers all start Friday. IU against Utah at 1:30 on ESPN2. Notre Dame faces Stephen F. Austin in South Bend at 2 o'clock. That game's on ESPN. And Ball State plays at 6 against Ole Miss in Waco, Texas. That game can be seen on ESPNU. We have several local college baseball and softball games on Tuesday. 11-9 IU hosts Evansville, which is 5-14 in baseball. IU's coming off a sweep of Ohio State. That game is at 6 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, 17 and Purdue takes on 3-15 Milwaukee. Purdue's won 3 straight and 7 of its last 8. At 3 o'clock, Ball State hosts Valparaiso. Valpo is 4-11, has lost 5 of its last 6. And Ball State is 14-6 and has won 8 games in a row. Also at 3 o'clock, IUK baseball goes to Tennessee Wesleyan for a game. IUK is 5-19, has lost 3 in a row. Tennessee Wesleyan is 23-5. On the softball fields, 19-7 IU is at Notre Dame. The Irish are 12-15. That game is at 6 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, Ball State is at Butler to face McKenna Alexander and the Bulldogs. Ball State is 15-7, has won 7 of its last 8. Butler is 16-7 and is 5-2 in its last 7. Former Frankton Eagle McKenna Alexander is the team home run leader with 7. 12-2 Indiana Wesleyan goes to 7-7 Goshen for a doubleheader at 3 o'clock. The Wildcats have won 5 games in a row. And 13-5 Taylor is at Huntington. Taylor is 13-5. That game starts at 3. A reminder that the boys basketball tournament continues Saturday with the semi-state round. Locally in Class A, Liberty Christian drew number 1 Clay City, the Eels, in Seymour semi-state in the Class A South semi-state. Number 1 Wapahani will defend its 2A North semi-state championship against Gary 21st Century at 11 a.m. in Michigan City. And Delta is the surprise team of the Class 3A semi-state. It's the Eagles' 3rd straight trip to semi-state, and they will battle East Chicago Central at noon. That game is at Logansport. Regionally, defending state champion, unbeaten, and top-ranked Fishers plays South Bend Riley in the first game at the 4A North semi-state in Elkhart. It is quite a drive. Mount Vernon is also in the 4A semi-state, but in the South, and will take on Jeffersonville at noon at Newcastle's Chrysler Arena. In 3A, Maconaquah opens the semi-state against number 2 South Bend St. Joseph, the regional champion at the Berry Bowl. So we could have Maconaquah and Delta in the championship there. And New Powell faces defending Class 2A state champion Brownstown at Southport in the 3A regional. In 2A at Michigan City, Manchester goes to Jimtown at noon at the Wolves Den. And Clinton Prairie enters the Class A North semi-state at Lafayette Jeff as the favorite. The number 3 Gophers opened the semi-state at noon against number 11 Triton, and now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to see the Central Indiana Sports Report continue to grow and thrive, please share these episodes with your friends and family. We thank you so much. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.